JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, written by Hiroki Araki, is one of the most popular manga and anime series of all time, coming out in 1987. Now, with this amount of popularity that surrounded the anime and manga, this gave rise to very popular creators and so many different people in the YouTube community and anime community that were able to blow up because of this series. And there have been so many instances of how great this series is and how crazy it is, and we get to see it in many different adaptations of anime and manga, and even getting a live action adaptation in 2017. But the crazy thing about live action adaptations is that they don't actually translate from anime to that live action. It's kind of crazy. It's like a doujinshi written by a freelance scanlator. And with all that praise, I had to go get a corn dog because this show sucks. Now, in all actuality, I'm going to be talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because I have recently started watching it, because as grand as this series is, I had actually not watched it yet in my 2 years of anime watching and manga reading. So I wanted to finally come in and read it and watch it. I'm watching the anime right now on Netflix because I saw it was there one day. I was like, all right, I'll check this out finally. This has been out for a while, so I need to see what's going on with this since it's so popular. But the main course of this video, what we're all looking for my answer on, is do I think this series is overrated or not? Because I have some opinions and people ain't gonna like them, but I certainly do like making people mad. We've seen my previous videos with that. We're gonna be talking about JoJo, and so far I am almost through the complete first season of JoJo. I have gotten past the, again, this is spoilers for up to season 1 at some point, but this is very old, so I feel like most people know about it. I'm past the part where Jonathan has died with Dio in his arms, and we're going to see what's really happening with that. But I'm going to talk about overall. I'm not really going to go over a synopsis with this because of how popular this is, and I feel like if you guys are on this video, you already know what the JoJo Bizarre Adventure world is about. But this is what I think about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Overall, with the story, I really enjoy it. I thought it was very entertaining. I thought it was an interesting concept. I was not expecting this to be a vampire series at all. I was not really expecting that mask like from the ancient Aztecs or whatever clan that was that used it, because I don't think they say it in the anime right now. This is a very entertaining story. I really like how it starts off very small with Jonathan and Dio, and we get to watch them build up. We get to see Dio just be just a dick, man, just to try to take all this family. It's crazy some of the stuff he does. Like, who puts a dog in a furnace and has somebody else burn it alive? That's like psychopath stuff. That's like Jeffrey Dahmer over here, and this guy's just like wanting power and money. Really would go do anything to get it. And I'm like, I guess hats off, man, you're gonna do it, go big. But man, that is something else. And overall, the story as it progresses, it gets very entertaining. But some of my main problems with this, and I really think people are gonna like how I'm gonna word this, because my main problem with the series are two things right now, and that's so far what I've seen over this series, and I don't know how it's going to develop, if it's going to change or whatever. The first one is I hate how they explain every little detail of every little thing during every single fight or interaction. Like, I can see, I have eyes, I can tell what they're doing. You don't need to explain to me every detail. Like, I get that you have to explain what hormone is. It makes sense, even though that, like, everyone has that magic power or whatever, but it just feels like the explanations drag on. Like, I can't take it sometimes. Like, it's just like some of the explanations with Ario Speedwagon, and then all that, just him talking about the fight and things that are happening during the fight. It's like, I get it. I'm watching Jonathan fight this swordsman right now. I don't need you to tell me what's happening. It's like I'm getting a play-by-play of a basketball game, but instead of watching it on or listening to it on the radio, I'm watching the radio broadcast on TV. Like, I'm seeing it while it's happening. Like, I don't need you to explain to me every little detail that's going on like a radio broadcast. Like, I get it. So that really annoys me, and it feels like it really holds my hand too much, like I'm a baby and can't comprehend what is happening, because it's a very simple concept a lot of the times with some of the stuff that's going on when they're explaining things and different people are explaining what's going on in the fights or in the story. Like, you can tell very visually, very easily what is happening in the story. Like, I don't need it, and it's just so infuriating to have somebody be like, yeah, I'm gonna explain every little bit of detail right there, and because you need it, dumb boy. It just feels patronizing in a way, and it's very, very annoying to me, and it gets under my skin in like a different way that I didn't expect it. Like Naruto's bad with this, and a lot of other shonen series are very bad with how they explain things over the top and just for way too long, and I didn't enjoy when Naruto did it, but I prefer Naruto, by the way, if anyone's wondering. I like Naruto more than JoJo's right now. I think Naruto has one of the best starts in anime, and I think that as the story got on for JoJo's first season, I kind of actually enjoyed it less. I like the small scale like soap opera type of theme that was going on here with like Dio trying to take over the family and everything like that, but not that I am disappointed that it went the route that it did with this, which is more battle shonen. I was just kind of like very much enjoying this like small scale, very over the top like rendition of a soap opera. It just felt almost like it was a parody of soap operas with some of like how the interactions, he was like, so like someone would do a gasp and there'd be like 4 reaction faces and you'd be like, what? Why do we have so many reaction faces right now? But it was kind of fun. But and the same thing, I also don't really like the over-the-topness of it. I really do, but I feel like at some point, like every now and again, very small times, because I think there's a lot of charm in how they do the over-the-top moments, like the shock faces and like the colors and the fancy poses and stuff like that. I think there are some times when it is just unnecessary, and I know, again, people aren't going to like that because it's personal choice. This is just my personal opinion. Please don't burn me at the stake. I don't want to die. I find some of the times that when this over-the-top moment happens, or like when they just over-exaggerate one of these scenarios, is that it just really pulls away from the scene and really makes me forget about the moment in the scene and just focus on like how crazy and like interesting whatever the pose is or whatever like the flashy stuff that's going on the screen. Almost like how the Family Guy has like this thing where they have to have a joke every 10 seconds, which is one of their rules or whatever. It feels like when they put that in, they're like, nobody can be entertained this long, so we got to put flashing lights to keep the audience entertained, which again goes back to why I didn't like the over explanation, because it kind of felt patronizing, which I know it's really not, and it's just an artist style. Just sometimes it really does feel like they think that my attention span is so short that I can't handle it, or like I can't pay attention long enough without like these extra special effects or something like that. But I know it's mostly just artist creation and just like the fantasy and fun of JoJo's Adventure. Like I am totally okay with these over-the-top moments and these flashes, like when Dio kisses Jonathan's girl and he's like,
君もうジョジョとキスはしたのかい？まだだよな。初めての相手はジョジョではない。このディオだ。
Like, I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really cool and entertaining and stuff like that. But then there are other moments where I'm just like, you don't really need to have this kind of thing. Just let the scene be what it is without letting it just have this extra moment in it and really just kind of like ruining the mood of the whole scene, or like the tension of the whole scene, because you have 16 reaction faces or just like a really long gasp or just mental thought or something like that that really pulls away from how the scene could be if it wasn't drug on the way that it was. And that's just a personal opinion of mine. Overall, I really enjoy how JoJo is. There's not really a lot of things that I don't like, and JoJo is also from 1987, so I have to take that into account, which is kind of unfair that shows and anime series and manga series from now get to learn from the mistakes of the past, because hindsight's 2020, so you get to see that people don't really enjoy that like really long explanations or stuff like that, or at least I personally don't, which I don't think that Jujutsu Kaisen, it does sometimes, but I don't think it does it to the capacity that JoJo does. I could be wrong on that, but from what I remember, there are some times when it's just like, oh my god, Jujutsu Kaisen is just like, why is this long? Like, I'm already lost. I feel like I'm in an AP math class in that show sometimes. Overall, I very much like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I think it's very fun. It's a very unique take on this whole shonen genre. It's really fun to watch. The characters are okay. I think they're a bit tropey in times, and I think that it's kind of tacky that like the creator chose a bunch of like old classic rock artists to be like names like REO Speedwagon and Tom Petty, and I don't know if this progresses on or if it's just like two things. I just thought it was kind of weird, and I don't know, I can't think of anything except Tom Petty when I hear the word Tom Petty. And so when I see this old like Japanese man who's bald walk up and all I'm seeing is like free falling, it's just weird to like try to like get over that whole name thing. And I know that's probably just a me thing that I need to get over personally. It's just weird to like see a different Tom Petty when I feel like it's definitely because of the classic rock artist, because like, so like to see both of them, it's weird, and it's hard to like just to get over the name Tom Petty, because they always say Tom Petty. They don't just say like Mr. Petty. At least I don't think so for the most part. They usually say, this is Tom Petty. This is Master Tom Petty here. And you're like, oh, it's Tom Petty. Free falling. I love it. I won't back down. You know, I get it, bro. And it's just kind of funny. And it's just one of those things, again, where I just feel like it pulls me out sometimes because I'm just like laughing that his name is Tom Petty or REO Speedwagon and things like that. But overall, the characters are okay, in my opinion. I like them. I like Dio a lot. I really liked his character. He was a really good villain. I think Jonathan was a very tropey hero, but he was also a fun to watch hero. So I think that he wasn't anything creative, but then again, it was fun. I wanted to cheer for him. I wanted to watch him succeed, and I wanted to see how he progressed in his life and how he dealt with all the turmoil and stuff that Dio put him through and how he was going to react. Because I really like that he didn't try to do the Naruto thing, which pisses me off when that Naruto does, and that is friendship solves everything. It's a fairy tale trope, but I like it in fairy tale because I just turn my brain off with that show. Because the thing is, with Naruto, every time there's a villain, he's just like, friendship, we're good now. Friendship, we're good now. And then, like, I'm just like, come on. Like, this is like the middle of a war. Can we just be honest here? Like, doesn't really feel realistic at all. Like, it's just, it does not feel like your greatest enemy who just murdered a ton of people in your village and was the cause of your own two parents' deaths, you just befriend and get over with that easily. And like, you just expect the village to get over with it too, even though that doesn't really end up happening because of what happens later in Naruto. It's just like, why? This is not really realistic, and it's very annoying to watch this guy just go friendship forever, and it will always work. But I'm really happy that JoJo is like, I have to do this. I don't want to. You're like a brother to me, but this was what needs to be done based on what you've done before, and the consequences for your actions really feels like a more realistic turnout to what would happen than just being like, yeah, we're good now, dab me up, G, and then you just move on and then call it a day. It's just weird, and didn't like it at all in Naruto, but that's a weird tangent that I'm on, and that's one of my only hates of Naruto, which is the whole friendship thing, and that friendship overcomes all. Although I'm happy he made friends of Gaara, because he's like my favorite character. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is pretty entertaining. It's pretty fun. I've heard that the first season is the worst season, so I'm sure it's probably gonna get better as time goes on, but as of right now, I'm not gonna give it a high score. I can't give it a high score personally. Honestly, I only think it's a 6.5, and I think part of the reason I'm so disappointed was because I was told how great it was. This is the best anime of all time. This is the most unique and interesting and crazy anime of all time. This is just one of the best things ever. So when I went into it, I expected the best thing ever. And did I get something good? Yes, absolutely. It's a solid show. Objectively, it's very, very good. I think it's an 8. But because of my expectations, I really cannot lie that I was very disappointed in how the show was. And there were certain moments in the show where I was very annoyed with how it was progressing and the pacing of it and the explanations of it and some of the overtop moments pulling me out that it really lowered my score. If I would have went in blind, I think my score would have been a lot different. I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But with the hype that I was told that it was and how great of a series I was told that it was going to be, I left a little bit disappointed so far. And I'm hoping that my expectations will be able to get met at some point. But it's very hard for me to like grasp the concept of this being the best series of all time, because I don't have that, like, a lot of that when people say that is very subjective. They're just like, yeah, it's my favorite series of all time, but it has like a personal attachment to them. Like, if I say My Hero Academia is like one of the best series ever, that's a personal attachment to me, because the reason I got back to anime and manga was because of My Hero Academia and Assassination Classroom and Blue Exorcist. So like, these series hold special places in my heart no matter what. Like, I absolutely love those series like forever, and I cannot ever get over them because I personally love them, and it's for a completely subjective reason. And I completely get that. Like, understandable, we're all humans and we all have our own opinions, but I think that when you push them onto someone else and be like, yo, you're gonna love this because it's the best thing ever because I love it, and then they go in it and they're like, okay, we're gonna get the best thing ever, I'm really excited for it, and they watch it and they're like, oh, okay, instead of just like, oh, this is awesome, I never heard of this before. And I'm not saying it's bad to recommend shows to friends. I'm just saying I think when you put up these unrealistic expectations, you're just going to disappoint whoever you're trying to introduce it to. And that's just a personal thing, I believe. And I want to make another video talking about hyping up manga specifically. So if you guys want to see that video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this one and tell me what you guys think. about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's trash? Do you think it's amazing? Am I wrong? Probably. Will this video probably have a lot of dislikes because I named the title, Is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Overrated? Probably. But that's my life now, and I've chosen it, and then I will suffer doing it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. My name is Bryce, aka DubsNotSubs. Please enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, DubsNotSubs.